Welcome back to a deadline episode of the FPL Sheeple podcast. We are back again just before the deadline so that we can give you a quick short episode before you can all your episodes in, lock all your changes in. So yeah, this is the first time I'm doing this, so it'll be a bit rusty, and I hope all of you still have a good time. Uh, so yeah, last game week was all about one difference maker, and that was Bruno, and he got 23 points in the end, and uh, 23 points in the end. That that was what separated all of the different content creators who we follow. So yeah, so he was the main difference maker, and now today FPL has just announced a double game week for Burnley and Watford. It wasn't as expected for Aston Villa and for Leeds, so that's why a lot of the changes suggested by content creators this week are a bit out of date, and that's why we waited like to the last minute to give you all the latest content. So after the double game week announcements, obviously suggestions have changed. People are even more confused about their plans now, and that's why we had to wait till the last moment till we give you this episode. So it's just me carling FIFA today. Unfortunately, Donatello couldn't join. He is his normal work day today, so it wasn't possible for him to join before the deadline. All right, so then let's just get into the quick run through of this week's episode. We'll start off by obviously looking at the template team from game week 22, and it was very different. And in fact, Bruno Fernandes was in the template team in the end because he was in 9 of the content creators teams, and all those nine content creators were on the top of our charts for the game week, so all of them got the most points, which was absolutely expected. I mean, that's 23 points, and some of them even captained him and got 46 points, so that's a huge difference maker. And then obviously Alonso and Gray are also now in the template, and they are not quite template, they're not in half of the teams. So it's beginning to show, the template team is beginning to show these different sort of entries every week, it seems. So really interesting to take a look at a template, and looks like King is already in 16 teams. So it's really already people are ready for the double game week that Watford had. I'm guessing a lot of them are going to double up on Dennis and King this week, and so it'll be interesting to see the template. And I'm sure Dennis will be a part of the template next week. So will be perhaps the Watford keeper Foster, who is a lot of people's second keeper, if I'm not wrong. So it'll be really interesting to see. And Ronaldo was a big disappointment for the 16 content creators who owned him. He was also a popular captain choice, and I'm sure they're really frustrated with owning him. And maybe there might be a few hits this week before double game week, so that they could get in someone else instead of Ronaldo, and then invest that money back into midfield so that they can get back Salah when he eventually returns from the Africa Cup of Nations. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see next week's template with such a short notice of change. Right, reviewing game week 22 for both of us, starting with my team. I got a total of 69 points, actually got 77, and I did a -8 if you remember from last episode. So my net score was 69. Nevertheless, that was a good score because I gained 6 points essentially over the other people in and around my rank. So this is information that we get from Live FPL, which is a great tool that I hope a lot of you, our listeners, are already using. And so Live FPL seems to be getting better every day, providing you with more context and more stats about rank gains and losses based on the different players that all the teams around us or around your own team own. And so finally, I have, ended up being inside the top 100K. I moved up from 107k to 89k now, and so yeah, I'm really happy about that. I'm finally where I aim to be for this season, and yeah, I hope this is the only way is up now, I hope. And maybe hopefully in the next few weeks we make some good decisions that you know keep us going in the right direction. For me, the Kane captaincy really worked out well. I mean, I made the changes before the double game weeks were called off for Leicester and Tottenham. So then, captaining Kane might not have been a good choice had I had the information before, but turns out it was all good. Kane was amazing. He played really well. Spurs are really playing really well under Conte. They got such an amazing winner in the 97th minute, so it was a lot of fun watching that. And so Kane got 11 points and he got 22 because he was my captain, and Madison, who I brought in as well, got 8 points. Lucas Moura was slightly disappointing, but I had gotten him in as a very short term asset. So yeah, Lucas Moura just got 2 points, and yeah, other points were De Gea, Trent, and Cancelo, uh, who got the most points. So yeah, so that was my team, and yeah, really nice score. And in fact, I seem to have overtaken Donatello. Speaking of which, Donatello ended up scoring 56 points after taking away his hits. And that actually was problematic because teams around him had a general average score of 63. So he was 7 points off that average score of the teams around him. And that's why he sort of fell in the rank from 80k to 95k roughly. And so he's only a couple of points behind me. That's not a big difference, but nevertheless, it's really nice that I caught up with him and have pushed slightly ahead of him. For him, in fact, he had Captain Ronaldo as per the episode, but turns out he had not pressed the save team button. So, a tip to all our listeners: do press the save team button, especially in these frantic situations where you're making these changes just before the deadline. Make sure you hit the save team button so that you have your team saved and the captaincy choice is the correct. Double check it as well. Donatello didn't check it, but it was in the end a sort of a blessing in disguise because Bowen was his captain from previous game week, and he ended up outscoring Ronaldo even though Ronaldo had 2 matches. So Bowen still got 7 points, and by due to his captaincy for Donatello's team, he got 14. The rest, Donatello also got points from Cancelo, Trent, and De Gea. That was, and also Madison that he who he brought in has 8 points. So all in all, it was an okay week for Donatello, I would say, but just not in the context of the teams around his rank. But yeah, but I think we are now in a good place, both of us, and we can now aim to try and improve our ranks even further in the next game weeks. So then every week we compare the starting 11s of 20 different FPL content creators. Like every week we did this for this week. The spreadsheet will be available as a link in the description of the video and the audio versions of our podcast, and so you can check it out for yourself. Right now, the winner for this for Game Week 22 was FPL Salah, who ended up getting 102 points. That was just an insane game week for FPL Salah because he had Bruno captain, obviously, and so he got 46 points there. He didn't take a hit, so he made a straight swap from Son to Bruno, and that's it. I think he mentioned in a video on the Fantasy Football Hub channel that he was not so confident about Ronaldo because Ronaldo had an injury niggle, and so he just ended up playing it simple, and that turns out to be the best strategy, I feel. And for him, he's held on to Ivan Toney for a way long time than other content creators, and it paid off. Ivan Toney ended up scoring after a lot of matches, and so in the end Ivan Toney had 10 points, and that also set apart FPL Salah from other content creators who were second or third for that matter. He also had Madison on his bench who got 8 points. So I mean, FPL Salah is really a visionary, I would say, because he has these assets already ahead of the crowd, and so he's well placed to do well in the next game weeks for sure. So he was our winner. And And then let's talk about him a little bit. So FPL Salah is the creator of the week for Game Week 23. He, as I said, is part of the Fantasy Football Hub and has articles regularly on the Hub website. He also features on the official FPL show from time to time, and I mean, it's really obvious why he features on these shows and on these websites, and you will see a lot of him in different FPL content creators videos as a guest because his history is amazing. He's also currently ranked 1,600 in game week 23, which is amazing. He was at 8,000 roughly before the start of the game week, and this 102 point haul just launched him into the stratosphere. He's played the game for 14 seasons so far, and his best rank is 604 way back in 2009 and 10. So he's really experienced, and he's a real legend of the game because he's ended up being in the top 1000 ranks 4 times and in top 50k on 8 other occasions. So 12 out of his 14 seasons he's finished in the top 50k. That is just unbelievable, and he's already on his way to another top 1k, which I think his aim is this season, to be in the top 1k and get the fifth 1k of his career. That's just unbelievable. I mean, here we are here, poor Sheeple, just aiming for top 100k, and this guy is just smashing it every week, or rather every season, and getting into the top 1k. That's not even stratosphere, that's just outer space, that's just alien, this kind of performance in like FPL. So yeah, really pleased to have FPL Salah as one of our content creators, really pleased to have him as the creator of the week. Obviously went through some of the videos that he's featured in, and also some of his tweets. The problem was that obviously a lot of his suggestions were before the double game week announcement, which happened today, and before that it was assumed, as I said in the beginning of the episode, that Aston Villa and Leeds were most likely going to double. So that's why his suggestions before the announcement were to get in Watkins, Rafinha, or Digne, one of them. He really fancied them. But after the double game week announcement, it seems like, Danish plus King was a preferred suggestion. So that's what he suggested. And obviously, it just makes sense to go with one of the or both of the Watford forwards rather than anyone else that he suggested before. So and for the captaincy, he just tweeted out that oh no, here we go again, probably going to have Dennis as his captain. Makes sense. He keeps it simple. He says it in the video on Fantasy Football Hub that he would just captain a double game week player. Just keep it simple. So I'm assuming he'll have Dennis as his captain. If we have time just before the deadline, now we are just 4 minutes away, we can take a look at if he's tweeted out his team, which he normally does before the deadline. So I'll just take a look quickly online on Twitter if he's posted something so far, and doesn't look like that's happening today. I'll just give it one last look. No, he doesn't seem to have posted his final team online yet. Some content creators do it a few minutes before a deadline. FPL Salah also does it sometimes, but yeah, I understand, if he doesn't do it before the deadline. But no worries, we have his suggestions, and based on which, obviously, both of us made changes in our team, starting with Donatello's team. And he's done a simple change. He's changed Broja, who he had, and to King, and just loading up on the double game week entry, and he's gone for the King captaincy because he feels King is a more sort of better asset to captain than Dennis, I would say, and that's what Donatello has gone for. So his team is Foster in net, so a double keeper, Alonso, Cancelo, and Trent. Foden, Lucas Moura, Bowen, and Madison. Ronaldo, vice captain. Dennis, double game week, and King, captain, double game week as well. So that's Donatello's team. As for my team, I've made just the one change, and I wasn't really keen on getting rid of any of my forwards. So I have Kane, King, and Watkins as my forwards. So I didn't want to get rid of any of them. I mean, I could have done a Watkins to a Dennis and then switched it back next week if we'll have a double or something. But I don't I don't like the transfer too much. So what I did was I actually used FPL Salah's suggestion from before the double game week announcement, and I've just made one change of James to Digne. And the King obviously is my captain for the double game week, and Foden is my vice captain. So my team is De Gea in net, Trent, Cancelo, and Digne. I'm starting him over Alonso because I don't know, Tottenham are in good form, and I don't think Alonso is in good form at all, or Chelsea defense in general. So I'm gone with Dean, who looked really threatening against United. So I fancy his chances against Everton. Then Jota, Foden, Lucas Moura, and Madison, sort of similar midfield as Donatello. And then Watkins, King as my captain, and Harry Kane, who remains my team against Chelsea. Hopefully, he continues his form, and hopefully, he just, does well with this. So yeah, so those are our teams, and hopefully they fetch us some points. This was really a nice and short episode. I really enjoyed this. Thank you all for listening. What I'm going to do now is just going to go back on Twitter and see what our different content creators are saying. Some of them have already revealed their teams, so it should be really nice. Let's see, what do we have? Harry, FPL Harry has rolled his transfer and already had Dennis, so he's gone with the Dennis captain. He has Ronaldo and Bruno as well, so that's great. Then we have Zofar, who made a simple change of Antonio to Dennis and captain King. He has Ronaldo as well. He doesn't have Bruno, but he normally plays it really safe, so he's just gone with the one change, doubling up on the Watford forwards, obviously. Apart from that, let's see who else. FPL Cruyff has again gone with the double Watford forwards, King and Dennis, and so King is his captain, and Dennis is his vice captain. Let's see, who else do we have? We have FPL Focal, and he's gone with Antonio to Dennis as well. So yeah, everyone's just going for that single change and doubling up on the Watford forwards. King seems to be a very popular captain. Ben Krellin has also gone with double Watford forward, Dennis and King. He's gone with Dennis captain. And here we go, FPL Salah's team. He's gone with King captain and not Dennis. So he was going to do Tony to Dennis, but in the end he's ended up not doing anything at all. He's rolled the transfers because he feels that he's going to need a lot of transfers in the next game weeks, like 2 free transfers would be really useful for him. So he's not made any changes in the end. So King remains his captain. Antonio is there in his team, and he has Bruno obviously as well. So, and I see that he's benched Alonso as well. So I'm really happy that I was also able to come to the same conclusion. He's benched Alonso and rather played White, who plays against Burnley. So yeah, makes sense. Let's see who else. Yes, FPL General has also tweeted out. So yeah, we are past the deadline, obviously, and so almost all of the content creators we follow are going to reveal their teams online. And yes, FPL General rolls his transfer as well. That's great. I think he brought in Rafinha last week, so that's really interesting. So he brought in Rafinha probably because he thought Rafinha will get a double game week this week, but nonetheless, Rafinha looks to be an amazing asset. Rafinha plays Newcastle this game week, so yeah, makes sense for General to roll. He's gone with King captain, obviously, and he has Foster in goal as well as a double game week goalkeeper. He's benched Antonio. He started Martinelli instead. So yeah, that's really interesting. So yeah, even FPL General feels like he should, have 2 free transfers going ahead, and that makes sense because these double game week announcements are happening on the day of the deadline. So what do we expect? We do need some leeway and not to make too many changes. What about Late Riser? What interesting picks has he gone for? This is amazing. So Late Riser going for a -4. He doesn't fear a -4 at all ever. Really plays the game differently and well, I must say. Obviously, he's gone for Ronaldo plus Gray to Foden plus João Pedro. That's amazing. I think I read somewhere, I think Live FPL tweeted that he also likes João Pedro, the look of João Pedro. And yeah, obviously, me personally, I haven't watched Watford in a while now, so I don't know much about the other forwards. I just go by looking at their FPL scores and some of their stats. But looks like later is a really fancies Pedro, and that's probably one of his differential picks. He has Ben Davies anyway, Saka, who he has started, João Pedro, obviously starting up front. He has Foster in net, Dennis is his captain. So yeah, nice that he also has Dennis captain. That sounds good to me. So it's really, I think, a toss up between Dennis and King. Um, so yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think just now, Live FPL and Raid Riser shared an exchange on Twitter that Live FPL was like, "Oh, Team Pedro with me." That's nice. And Live FPL says that he feels better about it now that Late Riser has done it. And Late Riser is like, "Yeah, he did enjoy Live FPL's tweet, and yeah, hopefully they have some fun tonight with Watford's game." So, yeah, a nice little exchange between. Between these maestros, and nice that they're sharing similar thoughts, and it's always nice to have the same thoughts. Just as I was looking at the content creators who captained Dennis and made benched Alonso as well. So yeah, always interesting to see your thoughts also mirrored by these greats who play FPL really well. Here we go. Big Man Bucker's team. Foden and Dennis in for Gray and Antonio for a hit. Yeah, makes sense. I think on the FPL wire, they were talking about getting in Man City assets, and uh, Big Man Bucker was, is a strong proponent for this to get in as many City assets soon as possible. And so, yeah, it makes sense for him to get in Ford and then Dennis. He's Captain King, and Dennis is vice captain. He also has Foster in net. So, yeah, three double game week players, including the captain as well. And yeah, he has Ronaldo and Bruno and Foden. So yeah, that's really great uh, from Big Man Bucker as well. So yeah, as you can see there, even though this was a bit chaotic and the double game week announcement was a bit late, it looks like there is still patterns emerging, and content creators seem to have be doing similar things like Dennis and King in, and bringing in some of the Man City assets, Foden for example. So uh, that's that's really interesting. Let's see. Let's give it a couple more minutes to see if uh, any more teams are being uh, tweeted out. Let's check how. Uh, let's check how. Uh, la, let's talk FPL has done. So and Andy has a deadline stream normally, which is still going on. Yeah, it's still going on. Oh no, it's just ended. So let's see what his team is in the end. I'm just going towards the end of the stream. As he said something. So yeah, I just looked at his video, and towards the end of the video, and as far as I can tell, he has not made any changes. He's rolling the transfer. He has Foster in goal as a double game week player, and King is one of his forwards. So, and he's captain King, obviously. So, yeah, looks like Let's Talk FPL has just rolled the transfer. Seems like a reasonable idea. Yeah, I think the Ronaldo injury stuff that has been announced a few hours ago. So, the manager, Ralph Ragnick, mentioned that Ronaldo has a neck problem and potentially it's a race against time. But we saw some videos online from the Man United official Twitter where players are training, and Ronaldo's also training. So who knows? Ronaldo once again could start or could be benched. We don't know. So yeah, so looks like that's a roll of the dice if there was ever anyone. All right, so I'll just check Twitter one last time. If we don't have any new teams or any, yeah, exactly. So let's talk FPL has just tweeted out that he's rolled a transfer. So just like I saw in the video, and FPL mate has just tweeted out, Dennis Captain Gang, where you at? Well, I'm one of them. So yeah, that should be really interesting to see. Well, yeah, so then I hope all of you enjoyed this little episode. Leave a comment if you feel the deadline sort of stream is really nice. I sort of have clubbed in the episode and the deadline stream together, but let us know if you enjoy this deadline stream. Anyway, we are monitoring the teams and the latest news on Twitter and on these different content creator YouTube channels. So let us know if this deadline stream helps you, and we can together just sit and look at what the content creators are doing in general. What are the patterns, and then maybe use that in our own teams at the end. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this one, something very different. Obviously I'll edit the audio for this episode a bit, and then upload it on all the audio platforms. The video obviously will be available on YouTube. I apologize for some of the hiccups in the beginning where I wasn't quite probably ready, but I think it was probably smooth in the end. So yeah, I hope you have a good game week. It's good luck to everyone, and goodbye from me. So goodbye.